The CIA just confirmed the unthinkable, and I discovered a document on the CIA's official website talking about crypto all the way back in the late 1980s under a program where the CIA commissioned an artist to create a series of sculptures for the CIA's new headquarters building called the Crypto Sculpture that has 4 secret messages, and of those 4, only 3 of these riddles have been solved, and the 4th one remains one of the most famous unsolved codes in the world. And it is said that a 5th message will reveal itself after the first 4 riddles are solved. So in this video, we're going to talk about these riddles, what the Gematria calculator has to say about this statue, and now what the CIA is confirming about crypto that is extremely bullish for XRP holders, leaving a lot of people to wonder what is the government's secret plan that they've been working on for decades that has to do with the Great Reset, Swift working on an agreement with Ripple and XRP, and how this directly ties into the US national debt, what the Federal Reserve is doing right now with interest rates, the global money supply, Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart and where we are in this market cycle, and XRP to the US dollar price chart compared back to the past, plus one of the best ways to generate passive income in crypto so you can be able to make money regardless of market conditions. So you guys are going to love this video. As always, comment 777 if you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish, and if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree. Confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So to kick this video off, we're giving away $100 worth of XRP, and all you need to do is follow BULLRUNNERS HQ over on Twitter, like the pinned post at the top of the page, comment XRP on the post, and sign up for Blowfin using our affiliate link in the description below. The winner will be announced in our daily email newsletter this Sunday, and you can subscribe to our newsletter through the link below as well. And you'll also get our free ebook called Altcoin Secrets, where you'll unlock the 23 secrets to become a crypto millionaire. So check that out. I know you're gonna love it. With that being said, let's dive right into the video. So if you guys go to CIA.gov, under the reading room tab, this document right here talking about cracking the courtyard crypto that was released September 5th of 2014 was created by an artist named Jim Sanborn, and it's located on the grounds of the Central Intelligence Agency headquarters, the George Bush Center for Intelligence in Virginia. It was dedicated on November 3rd of 1990, and since it was made, there's been much speculation about the meaning of the 4 encrypted messages that it bears. So in this document on the CIA.gov's official website, it talks all about this statue, and it even shows the series of letters that's cut into the statue, basically creating a crossword puzzle of code to be solved. And the word cryptos is actually a Greek word for hidden. And in this document, the author is saying, because I'm not a professional crypto analyst, I first needed to educate myself in the different techniques used in the field of cryptography. And also the basic problem solving techniques that he needed for decryption were not so different from those that he used in his work as a technical analyst. Now here's where this is weird, because the first 3 hidden messages out of the 4 don't form a single coherent narrative for an overarching theme, but instead they seem designed to challenge, intrigue, and reflect themes of secrecy, discovery, and intelligence fitting to the CIA's context. Now, for the first message, it basically says, between subtle shading and the absence of light lies the nuance of what looks like it's supposed to say illusion, but is purposefully misspelled with a Q, hinting at the deceptive nature of the sculpture, where things aren't as they seem. And it suggests that solving cryptos requires looking beyond the obvious, a metaphor for intelligence work where truth lies in the nuance between light, which is knowledge, and shadow, which is secrecy. So it primes the solver of these riddles to think abstractly and question assumptions. Where if you guys have seen any of the riddle decode videos on this channel, for example, the one 2 days ago I made saying that time travel is real and the government has been hiding it, that got 35,000 views, it requires you to think outside of the box, because the government has been planting these riddles in front of our faces this entire time. For example, this video 4 weeks ago that got 42,000 views, talking about how their plan is unfolding right in front of our eyes. But first, this happens. Hang tight towards the end of this video. This is going to absolutely blow your mind with what's happening with Swift and XRP. But first, the second decoded message is saying they used Earth's magnetic field X, the information was gathered and transmitted underground to an unknown location where something is buried and someone knows the exact location. Basically creating a scavenger hunt here, and the purpose of this message was to introduce a spy-like scenario involving the Earth's magnetic field to transmit information to a hidden location, and the coordinates point to a spot near the crypto sculpture itself. And there's still parts of this that haven't been solved, because if there's something that's been hidden, they haven't found it yet. And the third message that was decoded is a historical allusion to Howard Carter's discovery of a secret tomb symbolizing the painstaking process of uncovering hidden truths. For the CIA, this mirrors the slow, meticulous nature of intelligence gathering, removing debris and noise to reveal critical insights, also capturing the thrill of discovery, encouraging solvers to persist through difficulty, much like archaeologists or intelligence analysts, which is also a central theme of the Bearable Guy 123's cartoon riddles here, with persevere as the main word on the side of the ship, also written on the bottle on the floor of this image right here. Also right here where he says patience and perseverance have a magical effect before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish. And so the most interesting thing about cracking the courtyard crypto is the word cryptography in it of itself means the art of writing or solving codes. It's an art. So this whole entire industry is based off of riddles, it's based off of art. And if the CIA is willing to put up a crypto statue in front of their headquarters, isn't that like them saying, hey guys, we're riddlers, so try and solve the puzzles that we're putting in front of your eyes? Now here's where this gets really weird, because about the crypto sculpture, if we just enter in the word cryptos with a K on the Gematria calculator here, well, it comes up as the same number as, guess what? XRP and XLM. What are the odds of that, guys? It also comes up as XRP pump. And if you watched any of my previous videos, it comes up as Metacortex, which is the name of the building in the movie The Matrix that Neo, aka Thomas Anderson, worked at, which has a sideways X that's somewhat similar to the XRP logo, which also comes up as the same as Ripple XRP, XRP Ripple when you type in Metacortex. It also comes up as the Phoenix, it comes up as Simpsons. So the puzzle at the CIA headquarters of cracking the courtyard crypto with a statue specifically called crypto spelled with a K, created all the way back in 1990. Now, as you guys already know, everyone believes that Bitcoin was invented in 2008 by a guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, but the truth is actually much stranger than fiction here. They have been planning this for decades. In fact, listen to what the CIA is now saying about Bitcoin and about crypto.
People may have thought Bitcoin was anonymous, but I'd say it's pseudonymous, right? It's not truly anonymous. And there's a lot of work that we do with law enforcement, obviously, to try to track illicit crypto payments by bad actors. I mean, look, bad actors, whether they're drug cartels or terrorist groups or outlaw regimes, use cryptocurrency, but they use other tools as well, right?
They use dollars in cars.
Right. They used toner cartridges for their printers, right? It doesn't mean we say we should ban all of those, right? No, I mean, look, Bitcoin is here to stay. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. As you know, more and more institutions are adopting it, and I think that's a great trend, and one that this administration has obviously been leaning forward into. It's another area of technological competition where we need to make sure the United States is well positioned against China and other adversaries. We need to make sure that we are a leader in these fields internationally and not a laggard. And there's, as you know, tremendous potential for law enforcement and intelligence community to be able to use cryptocurrency to help track what our adversaries are doing and disrupt it.
One of the things I always am shocked by is people talk about it as a tool for the bad people,
right?
But also it could be a tool for the good people as well, right? And so whether it's Bitcoin or stable coins or anything else, CIA has a lot of payments probably that are going all over the world, as do many large organizations. And so is that how you guys kind of use as a framework for all of technology? Is like it can be a tool or it can be a weapon against us, and we want to be good at using it, but also understand how our enemies are using it against us?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned, right, we use technology as a tool, right? And Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are another tool in the toolbox. Mm-hmm. It's also a target, right? So it's something we can use we can disrupt our adversaries' use of it, and we can use these technologies to collect more intelligence, to gather more information about them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think in that respect, Bitcoin is actually very similar to other sort of advanced technologies, and one that we have to prioritize. And again, it goes back to there's a little bit of a generational shift, and a cultural shift going on that Director Ratcliffe and I are leading the way on at CIA right now. Not everyone in the government has these attitudes around new technologies, mm-hmm. right? People are sort of trapped in an older mindset sometimes, and we have to break through that and realize, this isn't just this idea that cryptocurrency is for people with something to hide. That's just not right.
You sound like the in-house Bitcoiner.
So if the CIA is saying this, guys, it's time to pay attention. Here's one thing that's very interesting. On the CIA.gov, it says declassified articles from studies in intelligence right here. And what he just mentioned was how they used crypto against their adversaries in war. Well, sure enough, there's documents here saying American cryptology during the Korean War through intelligence operations that they were using for maritime counter-narcotics operations. So for people to think that Bitcoin or crypto in general was just created by some random guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, well, this goes back decades that the NSA, the CIA has been working on way before Bitcoin was ever created. And what's been happening with the SEC Ripple lawsuit is all part of the show. All the world's a stage, and the people in politics at the highest level are really just some of the biggest actors in the world. Even Trump had his own TV show called The Apprentice, and now he's the president of the United States. Listen to this.
A man that I can't talk about because he goes undercover most of the time. His whole life is now undercover, but he's central casting when you get to see him, I tell you. He's a handsome guy. He is, if I was casting a movie for the CIA, I'd put this guy in it. Director of the CIA, John Ratcliffe. Where's John? John? See, he's undercover. He's here, but he's undercover. He's perfect.
He's perfect for the role. Central casting. How many more times do you need to hear this is a movie? And as you guys already know, in 1996, the same year that Thomas Anderson in the Matrix's badge had on his Metacortex ID, well, that's the year the NSA employees came out with the document, How to Make a Mint, the cryptography of anonymous electronic cash, with a guy referenced on it called Tatsuaki Okamoto. So right now we are in the fourth industrial revolution, and it has been created and pushed by the National Security Agency, the CIA, and the Trojan horse of this whole operation is Bitcoin. Because the NSA created SHA-256, and the origins can actually be tracked back to intelligence services in the US, namely the National Security Agency, or the NSA for short, where engineers employed at the agency invested heavily in developing the algorithm and first pushed it back in 2001. The primary objective of creating SHA-256 was to optimize earlier hashing functions like MD5 and SHA-1, which were found to be vulnerable to several known attack vectors. But interestingly, SHA-256 was widely applied to cybersecurity, including digital signatures, password storage, and message authentication codes, also being employed in proof of work consensus algorithms used in blockchains like Bitcoin. And Joel Katz, who is a former NSA employee, filed a patent back in 1988, and the date of the patent when it was confirmed, 1991, around the same time that the puzzle at the CIA headquarters of cracking the Courtyard crypto statue in this document says in the late 1980s, when the CIA commissioned James Sanborn to create the sculpture, well, could it be possible that the chief technology officer over at Ripple was also commissioned by the NSA to create the XRP ledger back in 1988? Well, I don't know. That's something interesting to think about, because why would he file a patent in 1988 for distributed ledger technology if he wasn't a part of the plot? And why would he have previously worked at the National Security Agency here? So this requires you to think outside the box here, because back in the 80s, maybe they didn't even have a name for the blockchain. So just because this patent doesn't say XRP on it doesn't mean that XRP hasn't been part of their plan all along. And now Ripple is offering to buy the $5 billion stablecoin USDC from Circle, even though the offer was rejected. Ripple has been making power moves like this for years, acquiring companies, making partnerships with companies. In fact, this was posted by Watcher Guru and Bitrue saying Swift is working on an agreement to use XRP for cross-border payments with billions of XRP secured in escrow as liquidity reserves. And shortly after that was posted, it was taken down by both of those accounts. But here's where this is interesting, because in 2017, David Schwartz posted this saying, my dream scenario is Swift makes a deal with Ripple where all their banks get to use RippleNet, maybe even paying Swift, and it fits our XRP strategy perfectly. Now, if the chief technology officer who filed a patent back in the late 80s says that this is his dream scenario, well, if he was potentially commissioned by the NSA to work on the XRP ledger, then it's not just a dream scenario, it's a planned scenario. And so if you're frustrated with the price of XRP and you bought XRP late and you weren't subscribed to the channel over the past few years for when our community was accumulating XRP underneath 50 cents, then I get it. It can be frustrating because of how long consolidation periods last. There's slow price action. It feels like you're being left behind. But listen to what Donald Trump's son just said.
That the modern financial system is broken, it's slow, it's expensive, and there's nothing that can be done on, blockchain that can't be done better than the way that the current financial institutions are working. Swift is an absolute disaster. There's not a week that goes by that I'm either trying to send out a wire on a Friday afternoon or trying to receive a wire on a Friday afternoon. You're worried if you're going to hit that 4 o'clock cutoff time, where you might not see your, whatever funds you're supposed to be receiving in the ordinary course of business, for another 72 hours or whatever it might be. It's insane. Why do banks work 9 to 5, with a long lunch break, Monday through Friday? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's, you could go try and get a mortgage in the United States or really anywhere else around the world, but, you and, whoever your spouse is, you could sit there for 90 days, 120 days going through and know your customer with a bank that's literally been your banker for the last 25 years, and it takes you, 120 days to get a mortgage to buy a house. By the time you get the mortgage, the house that you want to buy is already gone and, your dream's already imploded. Like, this isn't modern finance. This is incompetence. Try and transfer money across the world. You want to go buy a watch. You want to go buy a car. You want to go, do whatever it is. The banks take half of that. You have currency conversion rates. You have all sorts of things. You have to find a branch bank in a country with a banker you've never spoken to before. You don't even know if they're, a real life banker or if they're a fraudster. Whereas you can open up a DeFi app right now. You can open up, any cryptocurrency app and you can send money wallet to wallet instantaneously without the expense, without the variability. Our banking system is broken. Our banking system is antiquated. Our banking system favors the ultra wealthy. And what actually got me into it is the fact that I realized our banking system, it was weaponized against the vast majority of people in our country. Either the people that don't have the zeros on their balance sheet or people who might have worn that red hat that said, "Make America Great Again." And it forced me into the crypto world. And I'm telling you, if the banks don't watch what's coming, they're going to be extinct in 10 years.
Most people that are interested in crypto trading don't have the time to manage their entries and stop losses, so they invest with emotion, and that's why they lose. So we have a powerful way for you to make money by directly copying our trades and other successful crypto traders. And copy trading is one of the easiest and most popular ways to make money in crypto. Copying other traders that had more experience than me is how I became a crypto millionaire before 30 when I was new to the industry back in 2016, but I had to manually enter the trades myself, which was super stressful because I didn't understand how to properly set up stop losses or take profits back then. So I ended up missing great entry points or holding longer than I should have, losing out on potential profits. That's why leveraging a copy trading platform that does this for you is the best way to go. And how it works is the exchange will put in the orders for you when you copy another experienced trader. That way you don't have to manually follow the trade alerts or enter or exit trade positions sitting at a computer all day long. And it's very easy to get started with too. All you have to do is go to the link in the description below this video and create your free account, deposit any crypto asset that is listed on the platform, and then choose which trader you like to copy that has the best win rate. And full disclaimer, because we believe in transparency, we do earn a small commission for every trade that you make on the exchange, but that helps support videos like this to help you succeed. And you can also get exclusive access to our top altcoin picks and breaking crypto news updates as well inside of our Telegram group through the link below this video. So check that out. I know you're going to love it. So we're about to see a golden age of wonders, and it's taking place right in front of our eyes, because with the US national debt sitting at $36.7 trillion and the US federal budget deficit at $2 trillion, we have seen a mirage of posts come from the US Debt Clock's Twitter account talking about the gateway to eliminating income tax for Americans, the debt to wealth revolution taking place, monumental convergences that have happened over the years, and how one is taking place this year, with the end of the Federal Reserve banking cartel for the 0.1%, causing the US dollar to collapse over the past few decades and even taking a huge hit in the last 4 years, losing 20% of its value, paving the path for a great reset for a new money for a new America. Where in this image right here shows the US national debt with a zero and a slash through it being wiped out, leading a lot of people to believe that the crypto industry, specifically currencies like XRP, are what was created to usher in that reset. Now listen to what Dan Tapiro said, who's the founder and CEO of 10 Trillion Fund, says right here in this interview.
In 2021, the interest rate was zero, okay? Zero. And Bitcoin was 60,000 at the peak. So here we are today at 95,000. If we took short rates down back to zero, I think Bitcoin would be probably closer to 300,000. Now, I don't think they're going to zero, just because The interest rate is a reflection of how much liquidity is being put into the system. And it's a whole bunch of other things, but this is just my back of the envelope guess. We take the 2-year note back down to around 2%. Bitcoin's at 180,000 with nothing else changed. So the fact that Bitcoin's at 95 with the interest rate here and the dollar down, only sort of 5% from, the last 6-month moving average is unbelievable. Like, it is super duper strong. I know looking at all the macro variables. So if you have a little more of a slowdown, you have this dollar weakening, you have the interest rates drop, just that alone, forget all the great fundamentals, all the new flow into Bitcoin, flow into Ethereum and Solana. To me, I see everything. Bitcoin is the leader. Bitcoin is the core asset.
And with the effective federal funds rate sitting at 4.33%, well, yeah, back in 2020 to 2021's bull run, interest rates were all the way down here. So the fact that we've seen Bitcoin pass the previous all-time high of 2021 while interest rates were going up during the first phase of this bull run and staying all the way up here at 5.33% since August of 2023 until August of 2024 for over a year. While rates were paused, Bitcoin went from $25,000 to over $70,000 a year later. And the Fed just barely started cutting rates after August, and Bitcoin is currently at $96,000. So the next FOMC meeting is happening on the 7th of May, and 95.2% are expecting the Fed to keep rates current at 4.33%. Whereas if we go to the 18th of June's meeting, 56.6% are expecting a rate cut. Now, obviously, these expectations are going to change before the next meeting because that's the 18th of June. And the Federal Reserve has been tightening on their balance sheet ever since the 2022 bear market. This has been going down in terms of credit and liquidity programs on their balance sheet. Whereas recently, the global M2 money supply has been rallying to an all-time high. And when paired up with Bitcoin minus the offset here, Bitcoin is breaking out right on cue. So as new liquidity flows into the system, the elite are preparing by accumulating crypto. And this is why Bitcoin has rebounded off of $74,000 upwards of $96,000 right now. So if we look at the past, we can see some similarities here from June to September of 2021 when Bitcoin saw the major sell-off that dropped altcoins like 60+%, and Bitcoin dropped from over $60,000 to $29,000. It created a lower low on the daily price chart for Bitcoin. But if we bring up the relative strength index and the MACD, you can see that it put in a higher low, which was a bullish divergence in a major reversal pattern that signaled the bulls were going to step in and cause a trend reversal. And that's exactly what happened. So when Bitcoin broke out of that low, similar to what we see on the right-hand side of the screen, the price chart put in a lower low, but the relative strength index put it in a higher low, and the MACD also put in a higher low. Well, sure enough, the price rebounded off of the lower low. And now we're back up within this range of resistance that Bitcoin was at before the sell-off took place. So the real question is this going to play out similar to what happened back in the past where Bitcoin starts to put in higher highs, but yet the stochastic RSI puts in lower highs because we just experienced a bearish cross up above 90 and the stochastic RSI is now turning back around to the downside while Bitcoin breaks out. And if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, the stochastic RSI, while Bitcoin was breaking out, forming higher highs, and the stochastic RSI was forming lower highs, same thing with the relative strength index. The RSI peaked out above 70, and on that first initial pullback that you can see circled on the price chart, we saw the RSI dip below 70, and on the recovery rally, while Bitcoin was putting in a higher high, the relative strength index put in a lower high. And that continued to happen until Bitcoin experienced a major correction before the double top. So is that what we're about to see over the next week or two with the stochastic RSI experiencing a bearish cross, the relative strength index sitting at 69, virtually right at 70, and the MACD showing a momentum shift on the histogram over from bullish to bearish? It's going to be very interesting to see what May has in store for Bitcoin. Because when we look at the XRP price chart compared back to the past, all the way in 2017, I've shown this in previous videos, and if we bring up the stochastic RSI on the weekly, we can see some confluence here. So you guys can see that the stochastic RSI was all the way down here at 5 when that bullish cross happened, and XRP bounced off of about 15 cents, rallied all the way up to about 29 cents, and they got rejected with this long wick to the downside, coiling up in this descending triangle pattern where you can see a descending resistance and a flat support zone where the price breaks out from the descending resistance and back tests it as support before the breakout takes place. Well, that's exactly what we saw at the bottom of the screen, because as you can see, since the price started to pull back from the 15th of May, there's this descending resistance. The price tries to break above it, closes below it, even on the next weekly candle, didn't break above it, closed right at the descending resistance and comes all the way back down to this flat support zone of about 15 cents. Once it finally breaks the resistance on the weekly close on the 2nd of October of 2017, comes all the way up to this horizontal resistance that it wicked off of back on the 21st of August, and also got rejected from on the candle body close on the 5th of June, comes all the way back down to back test it as support, rebounds off of it, and then we see an absolute explosion to the upside at the end of the bull run on the 1st of January of 2018. So could this be what's coming for XRP? Because right now at the top of the screen, we can see some similarities here. Number one, the stochastic RSI, the K line is at 15, the D line is at 10. We just experienced a bullish cross all the way down here at 5. Just like what happened all the way on the 14th of August of 2017 when XRP rebounded off of this horizontal support right here. Similarly enough, look at the horizontal support right here at roughly $1.96 to about $1.90, even a little bit below it. You know, we don't have to be 100% exact if we just look at the candle body closes. For example, you know, XRP wicked all the way down here at 12 cents, but closed at about 14.5 cents by the 17th of July. And same thing right here, XRP dropped all the way down on this wick to $1.59, but yet closed at $1.90, and then rebounded off of this support while we experienced a bullish cross on the weekly. So the resistance for XRP, if we were to trace from the high of the 13th of January to the candle body close on the 3rd of March, could bring us roughly around $2.50. Now, the real question is, if XRP rallies up into this descending resistance right here, if we get rejected and we come back down, back to this horizontal support, similar to what happened right here after the 20th of August to the 11th of September of 2017, further coiling up in this descending triangle, or if we break the descending resistance and we come all the way back up to roughly $2.99, $3 right here, and then we back test this descending resistance as support before XRP sees the next rally to the upside back into price discovery, similar what happened to the end of the bull run. And if that were to take place, how long until XRP breaks out to a new all-time high? And most importantly, what do you do in the meantime to make money if XRP continues to range like this until the end of the year and doesn't break $3 until the end of the bull run, essentially? Because look at the last bull run. What happened, guys? When XRP broke out from 20 cents right here on the 11th of December, it was only 21 days for XRP to rally. So less than a month for it to go from 20 cents upwards of $3.25. If the same thing happens for XRP this bull run, well, that could be all the way from September to November, even December of this year, if we continue to follow the 4-year market cycle theory, leaving a lot of XRP investors to be frustrated for XRP to range sideways over the next few months. So the major thing that we need to watch for is XRP breaking this descending resistance. If that doesn't happen with this breakout for Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin experiences a major pullback like what happened through this phase right here in September of 2021 until the 1st of October, pulling back over 20%, if we see that bearish divergence play out for Bitcoin and we see a steeper pullback coming over the next 1 to 2 months, well, then you better believe that's going to affect XRP, and XRP would most likely experience a pullback. So if XRP hasn't retested $3 by then, I would bet on XRP coming back down to $1.90. So we need to watch $2.50. If XRP does not clear that before Bitcoin experiences a larger pullback, then I'm going to be eyeing this horizontal support, because that's exactly what happened in the past by the 11th of September of 2017, where XRP came right back down to about 15 cents. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to happen again this time around, because as you guys can see, there are some differences in the actual price action on the price chart, but I do believe XRP is going to experience significant adoption in the long term for the next few decades. And depending on how you're treating this, I mean, if you're day trading XRP, it's going to be extremely difficult unless the Fed lowers interest rates, they start adding to their balance sheet again. We need to see M2 global liquidity continue to break out with Bitcoin. But regardless of whatever happens in this short term, our research team has discovered strategies to generate consistent yield, whether the markets go up, down, or sideways, that I mentioned in my video yesterday. For example, right here in this liquidity pool, I had about $44,000 and my yield in 24 hours was about $122. Now the yield does fluctuate a little bit depending on the price of the currencies. For example, this liquidity pool is pairing USDC with JLP, but I'm able to earn $116 per day in passive income, and now the total value is $47,000. So from $44,000 to $47,000, and I'm still generating over $100 a day in yield. If I expand it out to 30 days, you'll see I'll roughly earn about $3,000 in yield. And you don't have to start with that much money. You can start with as little as $100 to test out, or $1,000. For example, in this pool right here, I had about $8,800, earning $24 a day in yield. So what I'll do for you guys is I'll leave a link in the description below this video. I'll say new DeFi yield opportunity, and it'll take you to this post right here inside of Altcoin Pro University from our research team with an 11-minute video explaining how this is possible. And also you'll be able to benefit from different airdrop picks as well too. For example, Yoni posted this one and he got about $1,600 in free money. So our research team makes these posts for you guys so you can be able to benefit from these airdrops that you would not be able to find all by yourself. On top of these DeFi yield picks and strategies to be able to earn passive income regardless of market conditions. Because if we experience a pullback for Bitcoin, or if we experience a pullback for XRP back down to $1.96, if XRP gets rejected from this descending resistance, well then I can take this yield every single month to accumulate more XRP. Now, obviously income results aren't typical. This is not financial advice. I'm not going to say you're making this much money because it depends on the total value that you add to the liquidity pool. But if you start with as little as $1,000, you could be earning roughly $3 a day, which is $100 a month, applying these DeFi strategies. So do I think XRP is going to do well in the long term? Absolutely. I just think it's going to take some time to play out. And I also believe that applying DeFi strategies like this is one of the best ways to be able to accumulate more of your favorite altcoins to maximize your upside in crypto while also minimizing your downside. So check that out through the link in the description below. You'll also be able to trade crypto globally using our affiliate link through Blowfin. They're doing a 10% deposit bonus when you go through our link. So if you put in 50K, that's 5K back. You guys can trade with that. You can do what you want with it. So definitely check that out on top of our free ebook. When you click that link, it'll bring you to a page like this where you can get the Altcoin Secrets ebook. You just click the button on the page, put in your best email address. That'll subscribe you to our daily video newsletter to receive value-based videos like this. And also don't forget to participate in the XRP giveaway by going to Twitter, following BULLRUNNERS HQ, like the post, comment XRP, and after you create your affiliate account through Blowfin, take advantage of that 10% deposit bonus, and we're going to announce the winner on our daily email newsletter this Sunday, and we would love to pick you. So with that being said, you guys rock for watching the video all the way to this point. Let me know your thoughts on the crypto statue. Maybe you can be the one to decode the fourth hidden message. And if you have any idea what it means, either way, we all know that the CIA, the NSA, has been planting these riddles in front of us, and all roads are leading to cryptocurrencies like XRP, like XLM, like XDC, HBAR, Algorand, etc. Fill in the blank in the description below, because we're backing up our truck all the way to the bank, grabbing the bags, packing them and stacking them, leaving no bags left behind, because we believe the spending power of the dollar, that's going down in value. That's a fact based on inflation, blockchain tech, distributed ledger technology, and cryptocurrencies have been going up in value. That's the truth. And together, you know where we're going. We're all running to the top. I'll see you guys on the next video. I will see you through the links below. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.